Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for Season 16, Episode 3, titled The Mother of All Balls. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by one runway-ready co-host from the podcast, Bravo, effing Bravo. Please say...
Sister, what are you doing, babe?
to Nathan Patrick Brown. Hello, Nathan.
Hi, Joe. Dame mas leche. What does that mean, by the way?
Thing. Give me more milk.
Oh.
They weren't lying. Wait. All right. Guys, this is the great banter you can expect. No. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. I like to be honest on this show. Everything's honesty. Is usually, because there's music playing, I can't really, I'm just going to fade out of this. I have to do something right now to fix Nathan's track. Okay. But I always, every week, I forget how to do it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay. So that you're going to hear a little bit of delay on the show, but I fixed the problem. There will be no more delay, but I didn't know how to do it. I was trying to fix it. So I'm just trying to be honest on the show. I'm not going to edit this out. I'm going to keep it in. Everyone can hear, but now problem is solved. Anyway, Nathan, how are you?
I'm good, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. If you guys, we had a very interesting conversation on Just Between Us Girls over on patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. But guys, I'm going to tell you, it has been, and you can ask, I should ask any Patreon supporter to write me. You know what, Patreon supporters, send me a message at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia about how good the content has been over the past couple of weeks. Great content. We started a Hello Uglies episode that turned into a therapy session, so I couldn't release it on the public feed. You get that as an executive tier Patreon supporter and above. We have a new show coming up called Let's Talk About It, which is, that's hard to explain, but it's a sex ed talk show based on a bunch of books that Lori's dad found by a dumpster. I don't really know how to explain it. It's a really hard show to explain unless you're like an afterthought.
Yeah, it's tough.
So that's starting with a rotating set of guest co-hosts, even some from the past, Nathan. Like, do you remember Evan? He's coming back. Do you remember Jamila? She's coming back.
Yeah.
I bet you will get a Jimmy Anti. We're going to have Nathan Patrick Brown, I think, is the first episode. Jay Ellis, Robert Mata. Christian Ochoa, so Boo,
wow.
And like all kinds of people are going to be hiss, like the plain Jane of Afterthought Media, as I call her. So patreon.com/Afterthought Media, a lot going on there. Afterthought Radio, that means Afterthought content playing 24/7. Do you listen to this, Nathan, the Afterthought Radio?
No. Tell me why I should.
Let me tell you, it is so good. It is just, I listen to it, but you know what's so funny is because it's kind of hard to tell the difference when there's a show starting and when there's not. So just temporarily until I work on it, the reason I'm telling you this is until I fix this, I don't know why. Oh, I moved it so I can look at here. Until I fix this, I made a little jingle, okay? So that way this jingle comes on after every episode with the intention of there being several jingles that shuffle, right?
Oh, fun.
So I'm going to play this jingle that plays after in between every episode that this episode's ended. Here comes another one. I made a jingle. I made a temporary one. I'm going to play the jingle first, and then I'll tell you what happened. Okay?
Hi, this is Lori Rodenkamp, and you're listening to Afterthought Radio. And the best kiss I ever had was with my brother.
So...
the thing with Lori is we always say to her, like, you don't need to overshare, and yet she always does.
She says she doesn't. She says I make it up. Anyway, so I told Lori, listen, this Afterthought Radio is so good. So she started listening, and so she calls me the other day. She's like, please, I'm begging you. I love Afterthought Radio, and after every episode, I'm hearing a jingle that says that I like to make out with my brother. So I go, okay, how about this? And I started going through other ones to do it. She disapproved all of them. She just wants it to basically say, hi, this is Lori Roggenkamp. And you're listening to Afterthought Radio, which I think is kind of boring, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. This week, the queen served 3 looks on the runway and the mother of all balls and rate each other for the final time. Nymphia Wind is named the winner of the challenge, while Geneva Carr and Hershey Licour Chate are placed in the bottom 2. After lip sync battle for their lives, Geneva was told Shantae, you stay, while Hershey was asked to sashay away. Nathan Patrick Brown, what did you think? Because there's a lot to discuss here. What did you think of this lip sync in terms of the rate of queen? Were the right people on the bottom? Were the right people on the top? Did the right queen go home? Give me all your thoughts.
Well, I am loving this Raider Queen. I think this might have been the last time, but I say keep it forever. It's so fun. I think I mostly agree with the tops and bottoms. I think Q and Nymphia were the standouts, so it's like it doesn't really matter what else happens. Geneva and Hershey in the bottom, I can see that. I might have maybe put Morphine in the bottom as well. But I think the right person went home because this fucking Hershey, did you see she had that world map dress and didn't include Australia on it? So I was like, send her the fuck home, Ru.
You know, it's so funny that you say this. Is this a problem? Because I saw some Kiwis the other day on TikTok who were so happy because they went to Universal Studios or something and New Zealand was on the map. And I guess New Zealand gets forgotten about a lot and isn't on maps. Do you know about this?
I think it gets dropped off. So does Tasmania.
Oh, wait, Tasmania's a real place?
Yeah.
This is not where the little spinning guy, it's not a made up land from where the spinning guy from the Looney Tunes comes from. I'm not even being funny. I'm being a dumb American cunt right now.
Yeah, and Tasmanian devils are real.
And they spin around like that?
Well, maybe they don't spin around so much, but they exist.
Will they kill a man?
Yeah, I wouldn't go near one.
Oh, is it? You see, here's the deal. I hate when you do this because I can't tell if you're being serious or not. Because there's the whole thing with everyone should know Australians love to play fucking jokes. People who aren't Australian, and they will tell you about what's the drop something or other.
Drop bears. Drop bears. Mm-hmm.
Drop bears. Which again, I don't know if it's real. You can't get a fucking Australian to give you a goddamn straight answer about whether that's real or they're fucking with you. And I think this is the thing that you're telling me that
they're real.
I don't know if I believe Tasmania is real now. I don't know if Tasmanian devils are real. I can't tell if you're being funny.
It's a jungle out here, Joe. The other day, my dog was staring in the mirror and growling, and I was like, what the fuck's he staring at? Then I realized on the wall next to him was this giant spider, and he didn't realize that it was behind him. He just thought it was in the mirror kind of a thing. And I didn't see it. And then I saw it and I was like, ah! And so...
show me with your hand. Show me with them hands how big...
It's like this.
It was that big? I would have...
Yes.
I'm telling you, if I went to Australia to visit you and I saw an Australia that big, I saw a spider that big, if it was a movie and you cut to, you would just see a plane flying back to the United States. I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah, it's a jungle.
But again, I can't tell if you're being serious.
When have I ever made a joke?
Okay, next time you see a big giant... you know what? Very good point, Nathan. You just did the best defense of you being serious is that you made a joke.
And so with the lip sync, I didn't enjoy it. I hate this whole thing where Hershey at the end came and like posed in front of Geneva and like completely blocked her. I think that's tacky, and I'm glad she didn't get away with it and that Ru sent her home. What do you think?
I agree with you. I was like, it was you saw that a lot in like seasons 1 and 2 of Drag Race. Maybe a little bit in the early outs for season 3, but people started to learn that Ru didn't like that, and it stopped for a long time. Long time, that years and years and years you didn't see that. And for some reason, that's like the second or third time recently that I've seen it. You also see a lot on the international seasons, but it's been a long time you see it on the American seasons. But did you think the right people were in the lip sync too and everything?
I maybe wouldn't have had Geneva in the bottom. I would have swapped her out with like a Morphine. But ultimately, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, what about you?
Just in terms of from a TV producing standpoint, why Maya wasn't in the bottom 2? She is literally maybe one of the worst. And I don't know about her drag, but in terms of television personalities,
yeah,
she literally has she has the least charisma, I think, of any drag queen I've ever seen on the show. And what's shocking to me, as we see in the episode, is the lack of self-awareness that she has no personality. I could see, I think we dealt with this last season with Robin Fierce, where Robin Fierce was like, I'm just a quiet person kind of thing. But RuPaul's like, you're not loud. And she's like, yes, I am.
I know.
It was like,
Ru
what?
says, you come off as really timid. And then she timidly responds and says, no, I'm not.
And she goes, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And then she like, don't look at me. It reminds me of when I have a cousin, but she's a lot younger than me. And I was a bit a teenager. And she was like, maybe 4. Okay.
Mm.
And the mom came in and she said, hey, everyone, Alana's coming in. She has a paper bag over her head and she wants no one to look at her. And I was like, what? And then this 4-year-old girl with a huge paper bag over her head comes in and just stands at the party. And we all have to ignore that a 4-year-old girl with a paper bag over her head is standing there.
Did it have like mouth holes and eye holes?
No, just a straight up paper bag on a 4-year-old girl, and everyone had to pretend that this was normal. This is Maya to me, right? Maya
Aman the paper bag.
Yeah. Why am I on a TV show? I don't know, something like that. Okay. Oh. Maya, am I on a TV show? That's the name of her new show. Her new drag name. Oh, am I on a TV show? Yeah, and then she's like, no, I'm not. I have a lot of charisma. I'm like, someone better tell your charisma that.
I was kind of thinking that I was looking at her outfit in that final runway because I was like, if she can't flip in that outfit, they won't put her in the bottom. That was sort of what I was thinking.
Oh. And the lip sync, I'm going to be honest with you, I have not been impressed by the lip syncs this season.
What was the song?
So in my opinion, yes, Geneva won. Great. But it wasn't like she destroyed her. And what's funny is I landed up watching Untucked. Did you see Untucked?
Oh, yeah.
So in Untucked, it made sense because when I watched the lip sync, I'm all like, it looks like Hershey's already given up. Like she's not even trying. Like she's just going through the motions contractually, but she was gone. She was done. And in Untucked, you kind of get the sense that she knew, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, not a great lip sync. Geneva Carr, any other lip sync, Geneva Carr would have been the one going home. But she made it okay. All right. After Plain Jane's win, the episode 2 queens congratulate Plain Jane before the episode 1 queens interrupt them with a video message and strut into the workroom. It's revealed Morphine and Plain are drag sisters, Plasma Shades, Saphira Crystal's vocal range, and the girls celebrate the full cast of season 16. It's a new day in the workroom, and Plain Jane and Saphira Crystal receive their immunity potions. RuPaul enters the workroom and reveals Saphira and Plain can use the immunity potion to save themselves or another queen. Next, RuPaul announces this week's Maxi Challenge, the mother of all balls. Each queen will need to serve 3 looks on the runway. The categories are as follows. Mother Goose, inspired by a nursery rhyme. Significant Mother, in honor of their favorite famous mom. And Call Me Mother / Father Eleganza, a bespoke mother of the ball look created from menswear. Lots to discuss here, Nathan Patrick Brown. But did you have any big thoughts on anything that happened after the elimination, everything that happened with announcing the Maxi Challenge, all that jazz?
I think all the goodwill is leaving my body. I think for the first 2 weeks, I was like, it's a new crop of queens. Let's be nice. Let's look on the bright side and be positive. But now they're shitting me to tears. And this Plain Jane, I've done a complete 180 on her. I think she's a cunt. I think she's evil.
Wait, did you like her last week?
She's vile. I loved her last week. But now I'm like, this shtick about being the villain, it's not hitting for me because it's inauthentic. Like, she's just trying. She just looked across the room when the queens met each other, saw Amanda, realized she was the most booger one, and just thought she'd punch down. And it's like, it's not fun to watch a villain unless that villain is actually super invested, like a Fifi, and like thinks they're in the right and is completely like out of it. But she's just trying to be a bitch, and I don't enjoy it anymore because then she's flipping it and being like, oh, sister. And it's like, how about you shut the fuck up? That's my opinion.
Yeah. Look, and I didn't get to really articulate this last week. this plain Jane, I'm on the fence with her. Here's what I mean. The personality we're seeing on the TV is a rotted, horrible human being. If there was a gay January 6th, she would be leading the charge. Okay, she would have been the guy in the horn rams and the Führer, like, you know.
Would you fuck
that would
him?
be her in a gay. You know what? No, I'll tell you why. Once you take off all the shit, he has a good body, though, I will say that. But he looks hot with all the shit on him, but then you take it off and he's kind of like, no.
He looks hot though at the riot.
He looks hot in the getup. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
I couldn't take my eyes off him in the getup, right?
Yeah.
More like January sex, am I right? But then I saw him without it, and also too, like, I hate that. You know, when he went to jail, he was such a fucking whiny baby. You know? And now he's out again. He's like, Trump won, right? But he was like, I need my vegan food. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up, vegan food, right? Anyway. So, and his mom had to be like, he's going to die without his vegan food. Oh, you're such a fucking... Anyway. So I'm on the fence because, like, look, here's the deal. And I'm going to compare her to, or contrast her with this morphine love Dion. If plain Jane is enacting my Joe Betance plan of drag queens, as much as I hate her, right? Which means as long as she doesn't bitch about the fandom, and if she just sallies forth being a fucking total cunt, and that's just who she is, it's great. You know, this is how the whole WWE, professional wrestling, in professional wrestling, you have the faces, those are the good guys, and you have the heels, those are the villains. And the villains thrive. They love being, it's actually a more interesting, fun job in wrestling, and you had a longer career. And yeah, the audience booed you when you were out there, but you loved it. And they were popular for being hated. If he leans into the heel aspect of it, then I'm here for it. But I don't want to hear at any point, the second I start hearing that the fandom this and this, I'm blocking people. I don't go, nope. The second there's a crack, that's the second that there's I want my vegan food, done. I'm done with her. But right now, I'm still on the fence. I'm okay with her, right? Because I'm like, okay, you're giving us good TV at least. Even though I will say, Nymphia Wynn is giving us good TV and not being a cunt. So what are you going to do with that? Okay, so there's a part where, like, so they talk for a while, it's boring. Then there's a video message. And it's the queens kind of impersonating the new who are going to come in the room. Like RuPaul, like, Peekaroo, I see you. And then they do this thing. One of those things that they've been doing for a while now. I think Rue even did it years ago too. Where they do the evil laugh and it goes into a cough. Where it goes, ah! And I'm like, okay, we have done that joke. Can we please move on from that joke? Okay. And I'm also done. Okay, so I actually really liked the girls doing like sort of like a runway walk as they walk in. I like that. I think that was cool.
Yeah, that was good.
You get to see them one by one. That was really cool. I will say it is funny that the first two queens that walk in, I don't remember who they were, but they were like look queens. Okay. And so they're like, ooh, look at what she's wearing. And then the third one is like Dawn, who's done up like an elf. So it's like look queen, and elf. And I was like, that's really weird looking. And so then they do that thing again where it's like, you fucking bitches, this is gonna start right now. And it's like, ah, and then they're like all hugging it out. And we've seen it before. And I hate it. And I want to stop. Now, that said, I never liked this Plasma, but I'm hating her more and more every episode.
Me too.
This whole, she does not stop fucking mentioning New York. New York, New York, New York, New York, New York.
For me, she should shut the fuck up about musical theatre. It's like, oh, now we're getting a Julie Andrews name drop, and oh, now you're talking about an octave range. It's like, enough? Like, show me, don't tell me that you're good at musical theatre.
But this is why I've talked about it before. And guys, you gotta understand something. I am a musical theater fan to an extent. In other words, good musicals, okay? Like, I'm not gonna, you know, I saw this thing the other day on TikTok that was like, best musical opening numbers. And the second there was one from like, you know, The Puppets of Rotterdam. Nope. I don't
Nope.
know what it is. I don't care. I don't know. I don't want that. Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't trust those things. But good musical, I'm a fan of. These musical theater people. I've talked about this before. I saw that video of the cast of The Lion King at an airport singing something like, I would have called in a bomb threat. I'm not even joking. I would have called in a bomb threat to get him to stop. If I was on the airplane, I would have jumped off the airplane.
Did you see that soul singer that was nominated for a Grammy? And she's like, everyone, I just got nominated for a Grammy. And she started singing. The flight attendant was like, ma'am, you need to shut the fuck up. What a king. Yeah,
she was like, but this is what it's like. This is what it's like with these theater people. And so Plasma's just being just like them. She's being just like them. Okay, so I'm going to make an obscure reference. And maybe I'll, for the cover, for the public feed, it's always a screenshot that I make into a cover. I would see Q on these confessionals. And I was like, there's something about her. What does she look like? I can't place it, but I know it's something. And then this week, it hit me. You know you probably never heard this. Oh, I only found about it. I don't even know how I found out about it. It's a very old TV show, but it's the TV show that Team America World Police was making fun of. It was called The Thunderbirds. She looks like one of the puppets from the Thunderbirds.
Right.
Yeah, let me show you here. Oh, Chrome tab. I want a Chrome tab. Yeah, here we go. Look at this.
Oh, yeah. Thunderbirds away.
I'm telling you right now, isn't that what she looks like?
Yeah, she's had a lot of filler in the cheekbone and jaw regions, I think.
Yeah, and it makes her look like a puppet. She looks like an old creepy, not even like a puppet like Howdy Doody, like a creepy old weird puppet.
Everybody loves creepy old weird puppets.
Yeah, I know. It's very, very strange. I don't know how to feel about it. Yeah, I don't like it. Okay. So that is that. Okay, now the next day, I just want to point out there were a lot of references, a lot of pop culture references this week. The Death Becomes Her, where there was a few of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So here's a little weird Joe trivia. One of my friends, a very good friend of mine, was in the movie Death Becomes Her. He's one of the guys holding up Isabella Rossellini. So I actually happened to have a Zoom call with him today, just by chance. And I brought up how there was a bunch of Death Becomes Her references. And I asked him, I go, wait, so you were there? He goes, first of all, I remember nothing. I go, but you were there during the whole now a warning? Mm-hmm. I go, you were there for that filming. He goes, oh yeah, I guess I was, because he's in that scene. And but he told me the only story I remember was there was this gay the costume guy was gay, shocking. And in a very gay way, he paid me a compliment. He was like, when I saw they chose you, I was really upset because when I designed the costume, it was for someone with no chest hair and you have chest hair. But now that you're in it, I see it. It works. And he was like, thanks. That was the only story he had for me.
Okay.
Death Becomes Her. All right. There we go. Just want to tell that story. I know people.
That's a good story.
Also, there was a Chinatown reference, the movie Chinatown. But I was like, there's no way anybody in that workroom caught that reference. Did you catch it, Nathan? Have you seen the movie Chinatown?
No.
Oh, well, you wouldn't catch it. When Rue was doing the whole, she's my mother, my daughter, my father, my sister, blah, 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 blah. She's doing a reference to the movie Chinatown. I don't want to say anything because it's actually a major spoiler line. And she didn't do it right. Maybe because she knew, or I don't know why. She didn't do the line correctly. But it was 100% a line from that movie. Because the way she was doing it, she's my father, she's my brother, she's my mother, she's my daughter. It's the way she was doing, like, oh, she's doing a reference to that movie.
And no one in that room clocked it at all.
and my co-host didn't clock it. But then finally, the one thing I will say is, and look, I call balls and strikes. Last week, I called Plain Jane of a wizard turned a pimple into a person. Okay.
Yeah.
She looked really good in the workroom. She looked really hot in the workroom. Not going to lie. On this one, she looked
balls and strikes.
Balls and strikes. All right. Why don't we do this? Before we go to the rest, why don't we take a break? When we come back, we are going to talk about the rest of the non-looks part of the episode. We'll be back right after this. And we are back. I should have mentioned this at the top of the show, but what we're going to do today, because it's a ball challenge, is we are going to do all the non-looks parts of the challenge. Okay, I'll let Nathan have a little like brief insight of what he thought about the balls, but that's going to be inserted. If it's not inserted in this episode, it's going to it's for sure going to be a Rulaska Thoughts episode, the whole looks part, because the ball challenge. But I'm going to try and put like an excerpt in the episode when we get to the looks right here for this episode. But we're just going to cover the non-look stuff. All right, in the workroom, the queens scramble for materials and get to work on their looks. Afira makes a dress out of denim, Q has an ambitious design, and Mirage works hard on a mini dress. Ru comes back to the workroom for this week's table visits. Maya admits she was surprised to see Morphine in the competition, and Q shares her sewing skills come from her estranged grandmother. Nymphia plans to create her own textile with neckties. Dawn reveals her sketch, and Hershey shows off a bunch of socks she's sewn together. Next, RuPaul reveals there will be one more round of Raider Queen. The queens will decide the top and bottom three this week and will vote before the judges' critiques. Before she leaves, RuPaul drops off the Raider Queen results from the previous two talent shows. Let's stop there for a second, Nathan. Any big thoughts on what happened in the workroom or the table visits?
Yep, I think Morphine is a bit of a loser. When they were all scrambling for the clothes, they all started at the exact same time. I don't think Morphine was in the bathroom or whatever, but she's standing there like a shag on a rock, and she's like, oh, they haven't left me any materials. Like, oh no. And it's like, maybe activate and move faster. She is shitting me as well.
I thought the same thing too. She was almost in the beginning when they showed her, like she was like casually browsing at like the Target clothing section. I was like, bitch, they're all scrambling. You're like, I'll have a little bit of this. And I'll have a little bit of that. And I was like, I don't know.
Grab and go, hon.
Grab and go. I want to talk about Q, our puppet Q.
Yeah.
And she revealed that she and her grandma don't talk, which, by the way, the least subtle segue in the history of segues, with RuPaul's like, oh, do you still talk to her? Like, why would you? That's a question you would not ask.
Renu. Right? Yeah.
Renu. So then she goes, no, she doesn't talk to me. And then we don't talk. And then RuPaul goes, why? And look, maybe there's more to it. Maybe she didn't want to get into it. But she said, because she said that if I do drag, I might get AIDS.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, I've heard worse parent and grandparents not talking to your kid anymore stories. Like, to me, not that it's easy, but to me, that if it's truly that she's worried that you're going to get AIDS because you're in drag, I feel that's a fixable one, because it is coming from a place, everything like this comes from a place of fear, but it's a fear that if everything is correct, you're a couple of conversations away from at least an understanding.
Yeah. When I came out, my dad I guess he went and did some research. Like, God bless him. And I'm uncircumcised. And so he must have found some paper that said circumcised people are less likely to get AIDS or something. And so he was like, maybe you should get a circumcision. And I was like, I think I'm good. Like, I think I'll just, I don't know how much detail I went in with him, but I was like, I think I can avoid AIDS in other avenues rather than just getting circumcised. So, but people learn and grow. But she's not going to get it from drag.
I don't know, man. I saw some of these looks and I got AIDS just from looking how bad they were. I saw some of these looks and I was like, I was down and I lost like 200 pounds. It was awful.
I got at least herpes from Morphine's look. At least.
Oh, yeah. No, I got full-blown AIDS from some of these looks. It was awful. And then she goes at the end, she goes, I was glad to get that off my chest, and it feels good to have Ru on my side. What did you think Ru was going to say? Ru was going to be like, no, you're right. No, your grandma's right. You can get AIDS from doing drag.
Well, Ru sort of did defend the grandma, being like, yeah, the grandma, she was like, it's a challenge to her worldview. Ru wasn't like, oh, you poor thing, poor Q.
Well, no, because I think maybe it's like what I said is like, I've heard worse stories. Like, if it truly is only that the grandma is afraid that Q is going to get AIDS, I feel not that it would be an easy conversation or an easy road, but it's a lot easier of a road than a lot of other people have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like last year, Mistress was in the hospital wearing drag and her mum like completely abandoned her. Like, I feel like that's kind of worse.
Yes, because the mother said she didn't like the outfit or something like that. What was it?
It was a feminine hospital gown or something.
Yeah. Okay. Then RuPaul's like, oh, well, I have the results of the Raider Queen right here. And this plain Jane is having a panic attack that people will see that who she voted for. And I'm just like, they're not going to reveal who voted, because this is all they need to have room to do producer manipulation. If they don't have the producer manipulation, if they actually did it by how the queens voted, then that's out the window.
But I think it's interesting that Nymphia has sort of already clocked that Plain Jane was ranking dodgily. Like, Nymphia's figured that out.
Yeah, that comes up later. And maybe it's because, this is what I wrote in my notes, is maybe it's because there was one more Raider Queen to go. But I was like, why doesn't Plain Jane just say, like, yeah, this is how I voted? Because unless she was worried about the Raider Queen, like, what the queens know has no bearing on her place in the competition unless it's Raider Queen. Also, so Maya is placed low on the like, for instance, Megami's the lowest, right? And he's sad, but he's like, oh, it sucks, but whatever, right?
He was like, I thought I showed something different and unique. I was like, well, I don't know about that.
And then Maya's like, I can't believe that I'm in the bottom because I'm so much better than everybody. These pitches aren't good. Oh, I'm just going to fade away like a shadow. And so I was like, bitch, do you not know? She just has no charisma. She's delusional. She has no self-awareness. It's very, very strange.
Her and Maya and Morphine were both fifth, and they both were angry about it. And I was like, there's bitches below you. Like, fifth is third last. Like, I think take a chill pill.
100% agree. All right, back in the workroom, the queens get back to work, and Maya struggles with her garment. Nymphia questions Plain Jane's strategy and flits around the workroom campaigning for votes. It's elimination day, and the queens put the finishing touches on their looks. Hershey abandoned the sock skirt, and Plain Jane questions Geneva's use of the stretch fabric. Hershey reveals her drag career was inspired by Tyler Perry, and Nymphia Wind learns Spanish. All right, Nathan Patrick Brown, the workroom, the elimination day.
Yeah, I don't think Geneva using stretch fabric was the problem. I thought the fact that it was fucking ugly was the problem, and nothing was going to get her out of that little predicament. I thought the Spanish stuff was fun, but they didn't translate in the captions.
Going off memory, there was the Dame Mas Leche, which is what they imply was, and would make sense, is that, like, give me your cum or something. Give me more cum. Right. There was one where she called her like a stupid, ugly pig or something. And then there was one where they called them a stupid fucking whore. It was pretty. I'd have to listen to it again.
Puta or punta?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that slut?
Yeah, I think it's like slut or whore.
Okay.
So, it was basic schoolyard stuff. It wasn't anything really insightful or funny. Oh, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
They show us They show this Nymphia running around, acting like a clown all over the workroom. How did she have time to do that and make that outfit?
She said her hands work quick.
Did you know there's a drag queen on this show called Mirage?
Oh, yeah. I thought I saw her out in the distance, but I wasn't sure if it was real.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point, is that it's funny that her name's Mirage, and she tells one of the drag queens, I hope they don't see me or they forget about me this episode, and we don't really see her. That she's actually like a mirage. Like,
but I'm kind of enjoying her. She's kind of fun.
I think she's hot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I do, actually. You know what's so funny? On Elimination Day, when I watched it a second time, because I watched it twice, I should have known Hershey was in trouble because they did a whole long, thing about how Tyler Perry influenced her and her videos. And I was at the time, I was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, oh, they were telegraphing this.
Yeah, they were using like the archival footage from her audition tape, and it's like, yeah, we don't need this backstory.
So one of the things that's interesting to me, because I think there's a whole thing in the Latino movement where Afro-Latinas or Afro-Latinos too, feel forgotten. And what I'm talking about is like Latinos who pass for Black. I mean, because they have a lot of African culture in them. But they're Latinos like anybody else, whether they're Mexican, Cuban, Colombian, whatever. And so they often feel forgotten or left out. That's what the whole drama about In the Heights was about, was that there weren't...
Oh, I remember.
It's a musical about people who are Afro-Latino, and there were very few of them in the movie. And so I think it's interesting. I'd be very curious to see if Tsunami, they focus on that with Tsunami, because I realized during this whole teaching Nymphia Spanish words that she was participating and laughing. I was like, oh, that's right. Because she's Latina and she also happens to be Black. But we forget that because here in the United States, we're so myopic. We just see Black, so we just think they're African American.
Right.
So I hope they focus on that. All right, before I go to the main stage and wrap up the show, did you have any big, like, overall general thoughts on the looks, Nathan? Any favorites? Anything big?
Well, there were so many of them. Like, and I didn't know half of the nursery rhymes, but I thought they were all quite stellar. There was a few that I hated, like Plasma's Humpty Dumpty, but then there was a few also that I loved, like Hugh's Judy Garland's dress I thought was so nice. I think my main takeaway is that Megami needs to stop holding props in her left hand. She did that with the workroom entrance, and then with every single one of these looks, she's holding something up with her left hand. And I was like, bitch, did your arm get tired? Like, stop relying on a crutch or a clutch. Because put your hand down, Megami. But yeah, I thought the looks were great.
I didn't even notice that. Wow, all right. Okay, so why don't we do this here?
You'll notice it now.
I'll notice it now, yeah. Just like the way on Dragula, a friend of mine told me about how, like, did you ever notice that Drac, when they introduce the Boulet brothers at the end of the whole, like, look how fierce the Boulet brothers look, Drac, like, throws the camera? And I go, she does? I never noticed that. Right?
Well, also, I've heard Rue say that she struggles with the word decisions. And so every time when they go back to the runway, she sort of does the slightest pause when she says, I've made some decisions, like as if she in her head she's trying to remind herself how to say it correctly. Interesting. And I notice it every episode now.
Oh, very good. All right, Future Joe, why don't we throw to the looks right here? And there's going to be a thing with the looks, and then we'll be back right after this. All right, everyone, we are back now. We are back with, as the Afterthoughts call you. What's the name of our listeners are called? The Afterthoughts. The Mattel sisters, Natalie and Javi, are here with us.
The Mattel mommies.
Yeah. And we're also here with our very own Plain Jane, Christian Ochoa.
Okay, I need you to...
You don't have to... Okay, if you want to, but let me lower it then. Okay, go ahead.
I need you to demystify why I'm the Plain Jane of Afterthought Media.
So Javi and Natalie don't... Plain Jane's the bitch this season.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being ironic. Yeah. I was like, he's not Plain Jane at all.
No, no. He's Plain Jane because she's a bitch and everybody hates her. So that's him.
Oh, well, no, I think people like her.
He insults the audience.
Oh shit. Okay, but that's their problem if they take insult to it, because
we were in a live show, and what is the thing you said about, like, if...
Okay, this is what pissed me off. And let's put this fucking story to bed after this. So basically, we were on a live show.
Was it a reading challenge?
It turned into one.
It's always a reading challenge for me. Listen, when you're Latina, baby, it's the cultura, right? But yeah, so basically, these audience members were making such harsh, negative comments on these girls, and I just don't appreciate people that shit on someone's hard work without acknowledging it. And they were like making these very harsh comments as if like they were tragic, and none of them were bad, mind you. That's what I kept saying. I'm like, none of these are bad. They're all really good looks. They're just not as grand, and on the stage it doesn't necessarily translate. And then so all these people kept doing it, and I kept getting frustrated at how negative people were being, because did I not make a comment about negative Nathan Patrick Brown? And so I was just, and you know what, Nathan, love you, but your reputation precedes you. And
by the way, this is one of the hosts on my network.
It's still very present on this season, and I challenge you to not come off that way. Anyways,
this is all going to be edited out.
No.
Anyways, so I hope when you meet us and you're here from Australia, I'd love to hug you and tell it to your face.
Oh yeah, Rob. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom Harvey's been on the show with him. Yeah, Christian has beef with him.
No beef. Absolutely not.
Anyway, we are here to talk about what we're doing is we're going to do the highlights and lowlights from the first two looks, the Mother Goose look and the Mother of Mothers or whatever, the famous moms. And then on Rulaska Thoughts later this week, we're going to go look by look for the third challenge, the design challenge. But so for the first one, the Mother Goose one, I'm not going to start with Christian because then we'll be here all night. Let's start with Javi. Were there any highlights or lowlights that you remember from the Mother Goose one? And you don't have to know their name. You don't know what things that stuck out to you.
I really like the cow one. I thought that was cute. I really like, what is it called? Anamorphic. Things like when it's like human and
anthropomorphic.
Animal. Yeah, anthropomorphic. What did I say? Anthropomorphic?
I don't know.
But
Anamorphic. It's not anthro.
Animaniac.
It's anamorphic.
Drag queen name
It's not.
Anamorphic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
I just wish like the like bell was bigger, and I think she even had like a little tag on her earring. So I thought that was cute.
Her name is Dawn, by the way. He's referencing Dawn's look.
So Christian will probably know who had what look.
It was cute. And then I know which one Natalie's gonna say, and that's also my favorite one too.
You already know from the Mother Goose one which one Natalie.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, our reactions were
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god!" It was like our version of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, Natalie, what was your favorite one?
I'm gonna. This is the only look that I liked.
Okay.
I didn't like any of the other looks.
True.
Oh my god. Not okay, no, there was a little you liked a few more.
Wait, go.
Okay. Well, my favorite one was obviously the Humpty Dumpty and how the egg opened.
And I believe that one was Tsunami.
Yes.
That was good.
Love that one. First, just as Humpty Dumpty, just the proportions of the dress and how they're cut and the ruffle. It was just so cute. But then when she freaking cracked open, I was like, oh my god. And then the detail on the egg dress, which I love the drips, and they had shading on the drip, so it made it look even more like kind of like comic book. But I loved it.
I also like how I feel like if an egg was real, that's how I would walk around with that dress like that.
If I was an egg, I would dress like that. Yeah,
And
I
then
loved it.
the one that we liked too was the pumpkin.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the
right.
pumpkin.
Sapphira Crystal.
Yeah.
Sophia Crystal came out as the pumpkin.
I forgot about that
You really
one.
like the pumpkin
Yes.
one. Were there any ones that you hated, Javi? Like you just, I can't stand that one.
I just feel like a lot of them were really sloppy, and like Natalie made a good point too. They just looked like Halloween costumes. Like it didn't
Very
feel
true.
like a
Like
lot
the
of
French
thought.
maid one. What was that one?
Yeah, and then the Little Bo Peep, like that's such a cute idea. Like the spider just looked like they just got it out.
Well, you know what's one I remember you guys
Halloween
commented. You
store.
guys commented on the Tweedledee and Tweedledum one.
Yeah, I just didn't understand that. Like I didn't get what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that face was terrible. Like if you're gonna paint another face, it should look pretty. It was just ugly.
And that was
it supposed to
plasma,
be,
right?
Like the hands or the legs?
No, I think the legs were.
Oh, they were like, I just didn't
Dang.
understand it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And my comment to that was like, that's fine if you're gonna be obscure, but in general, I'm just the way that I felt about this category and the others. If you're gonna do it, like at least show something that you're gonna be proud in and proud of that can stand on its own without context, right? Like it shouldn't be. A lot of them had to really try hard at selling their looks, right? Because in general, like a lot of them were flops. So they gave it the character. They like really tried and to sell you this thing, but you don't have to try hard if you actually look good.
Like if that was me, I would either be an actual Mother Goose, like a sexy Mother
Oh,
Goose.
I love that. Yeah.
Or I would have came out as a star, like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but like, bitch, I'm a
Oh, you
star
know
here.
what? I'm surprised no one did the old lady in the shoe. That could
That's
have been a
good
good
too.
one too.
Wait, that's a good point. A lot of the concepts, we were like, what fucking nursery rhyme is that?
Yeah.
like little
Pussy by the fire?
Yeah.
Pussy by the fire, I've heard of,
You
but
know
little
what,
pussy
you know
by
what
the
I
fire.
thought they were? You know that storytelling, like the little kittens that lost their mittens? That's what I thought it was.
That
She
makes
should have
more
had a bunch of
sense.
mittens.
And I was like, oh wait, that's not what that is.
Or been a big mitten.
Or the itsy bitsy spider. Like you're right.
Because you know
There's
what
so
she
many
could've done?
missed
She could have
opportunities.
lost one of her mittens on the runway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's cute. Like the spider.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot
no
of
one
missed
did that.
opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, now Christian, let's go to you. I'm gonna look at. Okay, we're at 7 minutes. What were some of your highlights and lowlights from this? The Mother Goose.
Humpty Dumpty, hands down, number one. The reveal was really good. That's the best she's ever looked as an egg.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but anyways, at least she looked great. Loved it. Loved the concept. Humpty Dumpty icon. Secondly, I loved Saphira Crystal, the pumpkin. Like, very grand. Very, very grand. And she did give it a character, but it made sense and it actually looked good on its own. Like, on a mannequin, I would have still liked the dress. I would have thought it was cool. And you made a good point. The details. The girls that stuck to the details, like, she did airbrush the velvet on the pumpkin, the highlights, the shadows. Like, those details matter on the stage.
Yep.
And who was the other one? Someone mentioned. I liked that one too.
The cow?
No, I didn't really care for the cow, to be honest. I would have been more obvious. Like, I didn't really get cow from it. And why the fuck is a cow wearing that? I just didn't get it.
Clarabelle, the ally?
I didn't get Clarabelle. I would have loved Clarabelle.
But why would an egg be wearing an outfit?
Okay, but I could tell it was an egg.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell which was a cow.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next one, which was, what was that called? The Mother of
Mothers?
something like that. You had to be a famous mom. You had to be a famous mom. That's what it was. So let's start with Javi again. Javi, any highlights, things you remember, things you want to forget?
I liked how they did Michelle Visage, but because it was like a 2-1 look, I thought that was cool. Again, I just don't know why nobody did RuPaul. Like, that would have been the obvious choice.
I think they didn't do RuPaul because in a previous season, they have had RuPaul as a category. I think more than once, actually. And season 6 was the first time, remember? Laganja Stranja, that crazy episode. Gia Gunn was on it.
Well, remember when the Milk did the boy RuPaul?
Milk came out in a suit and got her ass handed to her. So...
you have to be perfection if you're going to do it.
Exactly. And they really...
they couldn't even get the what do you call it?
They couldn't get Lil' Kim. They couldn't do Lil' Kim. They're going to do RuPaul.
Exactly.
I just felt a lot of looks look lazy or like it took me a while to like I feel like when you have to put a reference image, it's like it wasn't there.
I haven't watched it in a while, so it's kind of sad to watch. I know, it's kind of sad to watch it because why have they gone backwards? Because it's like, I feel like they were at a certain point where it's like the looks were so elevated and evolved, and I just feel like they kind of have gone backwards.
I think even last season the looks were elevated. They were almost at the point where you were like, can a poor girl do well on this show? Because they don't have a design. So
it was just the season? Or?
I don't know what's going on.
Well, this is a great topic of conversation, and it's very appropriate for this episode because I do kind of like that I don't think it should be a design show. You know what I mean? As someone who loves fashion, I love looks, I love all the things. I do miss, how do I explain it? I miss people, like seeing people in their drag, like seeing the humanity, not the designer that you collaborated with that like did everything for you and you spent so much money on a package.
I still think that you could be creative.
You should still be polished.
Which I feel like they're lacking the creativity. They could have totally told a story with all of their fashions and they didn't.
Totally
That's
agree
what I'm
with
missing.
you.
But I'm wondering if it's because they have like 2 or 3 weeks from the time they're told in the show to showing up to like they have to put together like
we don't know the backstory.
So many looks.
Okay, but at the same time, bitch, where's your drag though? Like if you've been doing drag long enough to get on this show, you should have some pieces that you can fall back on. You know what I mean? If I had to go be a part of some type of competition show and had to get myself ready in terms of like, I don't know if it was like wearing clothes, like I have shit in my closet that I've been collecting for like 10 years.
Yeah, but I feel like performing on stage and then being on TV, you know, they probably feel like it has to be elevated.
Oh, as it should, you know. But then it's like, if they were gunning for the show, though, they should have been preparing, like having strong staple pieces, you know, things that they can embellish on, like you said, things that they can show more creative concepts with and they can make work for the challenges. Like, you never know. Maybe Tsunami did have a Humpty Dumpty outfit or like the egg thing. And she goes, how can I elevate this egg and make it work for this? I don't know, because I just feel like anytime I get invited to a costume party, I pull from my own shit. I don't go and buy a costume.
How often are you getting invited to a costume party?
Last night I went to a midsummer
there you go.
Saltburn karaoke party at this gorgeous home in the hills, and it was like bitches came in midsummer drip. I was shook. I was so fucking shook. Even the straight men.
Playboy Midsummer?
No, like Shakespeare. Yeah.
Well, wait, isn't the Playboy one the Shakespeare one?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Anyway, okay.
You just wanted to reference.
Did you have any, Natalie, did you have any favorites or highlights or moments or moms that stood out to you in this one? What did you think of the Judy Garland one? The Judy Garland one got a lot of love.
I'm sorry, like Debbie Downer. I didn't like really any of them, of the moms. I wanted to see Mother Mary. I wanted to see Guadalupe. I wanted to see like she walked down and it was just like, you know who that was, and it made you feel like either like my mom or something. It was. Wait,
you wanted to see Alma walk down the runway?
My mom would be amazing. My mom would have big hair. My mom would have a little like cute mini skirt. Yeah, I would. You know what? I would have done Alma.
They have done La Virgen Maria, like, and the Virgin Mary, and like they have referenced her on the runway before.
You sent me that one, yeah.
And it has been done like when Raja showed up to the finale and stuff.
I love Raja.
Yeah, Raja's.
Well, no, you know who did it was Sugar Cane had that iconic finale Guadalupe one that she did.
Sugar Cane did it. Mimi I'm First did it on the actual season, not in a good way, but. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe some people overthink it. I agree with you, Natalie, in the sense that like they're trying so hard to do something that the other bitch isn't gonna think of. That it's like, bitch, Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
I know, I didn't understand that one.
Girl.
You know that famous mother, Salma Hayek?
Or like give us an iconic Salma Hayek
the snake.
Look from like
snake.
Exactly. That's what I would have said.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Love Dusk Till that movie.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch it. Anyways, but so good. It's one of my favorite movies.
Is Salma Hayek the one that like breastfed that baby?
What?
What are you talking about?
Remember? Or am I making this up?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. What is Javi talking about,
What do you
Natalie?
mean breastfed a baby?
I'm gonna Google this. Keep talking.
Okay, Christian. Now
Wait, was that Angelina Jolie?
No. Keep talking.
Christian, what your
For this category, I do agree that it lacked a lot of creativity. I think the girls put more time into the first and last category, and because this was totally like an afterthought category. Like, girl, that Kris Jenner, so pedestrian. A lot of it was so pedestrian. The ones that did stand out to me for good reason was just more because of how polished and put together it was. Like Nymphia wins Angelina Jolie wedding dress. At least she looked good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Did I love it? Did I care for it? Was it obvious to me? No, but at least she looked good.
Yeah.
So
I also thought they were gonna do more pop culture moms. Like I thought
that would have been good.
Well, they really could have done Kris Jenner. Like they really could have done something fierce with her, but
you know what would have been cool? What's her name? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, you know what's so funny?
Bill Cosby's mom.
Oh, Bill Cosby's mom.
Not mom, the wife.
Felicia
Claire?
Rashad, yeah.
Oh, wait, what's that mom that you like from Who's the Boss?
Oh, Angela Bauer.
Judith Light. No, but you know, on the premiere, when the second crew came in, this is interesting now that I think about it. When the second crew came in, they were looking at the other girls' outfits, and someone had a Marge Simpson's wig. How come them didn't do Marge Simpson?
That's
Peg
brilliant.
Bundy.
Yeah.
Peg Bundy.
Peg Bundy.
Really
Marge Simpson.
good. Yeah.
Peg Bundy. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, there could have been just.
Or the mom from Hairspray.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been cute too. That would have been hella cute.
Yeah.
Turn black.
Or you know what, the camp girl could have done like the mom from Leave It to Beaver or something.
True Beverly Hills.
A Real Housewife. Someone should have done like an iconic Real Housewife, you know? I don't know, but yeah, definite Edna Turnblad. There we go.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
there
we're
you go.
thinking of. Yeah.
Okay, so Christian, what were your... Oh, so you made your points.
Yeah.
All right, very good. All right, guys, well, we're going to call it a day there. You're going to see us this week on Rulaska Thoughts, where we're going to go look by look on the design challenge. So I'm going to throw it back to Joe and Nathan. Well, I'm Joe. Me and Nathan. Christian's best friend, Nathan. Patrick Brown.
Yeah, Nathan, love you.
All right, we're back. Okay, after the ball, the queens rate each other's looks, placing Nymphia Wynn, Q, and Safira Cristal in the top, and Geneva Carr, Hershey LaCour-Jete, and Maya Iman LePage in the bottom three. On the main stage, RuPaul names Nymphia Wynn the winner of the challenge and places Geneva Carr and Hershey in the bottom two, forcing them to face off in a lip-sync battle for their lives. The song, Maybe You're the Problem by Ava Max. In the end, Geneva Carr is told Shantae you stay, while Hershey LaCour-Jete is asked to sashay away. Nathan, any final thoughts on this episode? Did anything you didn't get out? Anything that you want to talk about that you didn't get to talk about? Anything at all?
Just that I really enjoyed the rankings. I hope we get it again. I don't know. I just feel like it adds a new element to the show and it's fun and it doesn't matter if it's not judged fairly because like the show's not judged fairly. And you get funny moments like when Amanda was like, I'm going to rank Plain Jane 10th. That'll show her. And then we cut to immediately Plain Jane's ranking Amanda 13th. I find humor in that. I thought that was really great. But yeah, so if it's the last Ranker Queen, it'll be missed.
All right, very good. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16. So for Nathan Patrick Brown and myself,
protect queer art.
I'm going to keep that. I pressed the wrong button, but I'm going to keep that in.
Thank you for listening to Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can also email us at dragracerecap@afterthought.media. For more Drag Race and LGBTQ content, support us over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. This podcast was produced by Zach Birch. Nathan Brown has another podcast. It's called Bravo, Bravo, Effing Bravo. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow Nathan Brown on Instagram at NathanBrown90. Follow Joe Betance on Instagram at Joe Betance. Special thanks to these expensive tier Patreon supporters. Alex S. Anonymous. April Pacheco. Astute Girl. Brad Coley. Philsket Pony, Deckhead, Doofus Maximus, E. Smith, Elizabeth Tinner, Emma, Humble Pie, Isaac Martin, Jade Thomas Plank, Jesse Harris, Kathy Zender, Lauren Eckert, Lucy Carrasco, Luke Stamen, Mike Yeager, Nikki Baker, Poppy Woods, Ricardo the Herrera, Robert NYC, Sarah Yu, Runner Brandon, Tom Bombs, Travi Cosmos, Troy Anderson, and Zach Nelson. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.